What are the best clans in Rising Sun? This is another Rising Sun video. Maybe it'll be my last, maybe not, who knows. Rising Sun is my favorite game of all time. At least when this video is being filmed. I'm sorry, don't listen. Don't listen, nothing could take your throne. Except maybe Attack on Titan, the deck building game, who knows? But I haven't yet done a clan ranking, and so I wanted an excuse to talk about my favorite game a little bit more, and I'm going to tell you what the best clans are and what the worst clans are. This is including all of the 8 clans in existence, and we're going to get going right now. But before we do, hit the like button. Yeah, I'm asking you to like this video before you even know the content. That's how confident I am in Rising Sun. I've played over 50 games of Rising Sun, which means over 200 hours of Rising Sun. I have won multiple times with all of these clans. I love this game. I love negotiation. If you want to see a full review on this game, you can check out my review. If you want to see some strategy tips on how to destroy your opponents, you can check out my video on that. If you want to see an awesome storage solution for Rising Sun that I can't really show you because I'm not in a spot where I have a top-down camera set up without great effort on my part, and the point of this video is for me to talk about something I know intrinsically and can just run my mouth, well, you can check out my insert making video where I showcase it, but I'm very proud I have basically all the content from all the Kickstarters and expansion, the Dynasty expansion, in this one box, and I'm very proud of it, and it helps me get it to the table even more because I love this game. And if you want a ranking of the various expansions, say you just have the base and you're not sure what to add to your Rising Sun experience, well, I have a video for that too. I gotta take this off the screen. It's trying to focus on it instead of me. But this is a video that I've been meaning to do for a while because I just like talking about Rising Sun. So you have to let me know your own personal ranking of clans in the comments below. See why mine are ridiculously dumb. Honestly, I love all the clans in Rising Sun, obviously, since it's my favorite game. I can be handed a clan and have a great time with all of it, but some of them, some of the powers I find particularly satisfying to play with. And so with this ranking, I'm also going to kind of describe the type of player you need to be and the little things that you need to look forward to if you want to play with these characters. I think that's my order. It's tough. I just swatched around a whole bunch. Things went from number 7 to number 4 because that's the tight range. However, something I didn't swap, which I've always known is kind of my least favorite clan, is from the base set, and that is the Dragonfly clan. With gossamer wings, they can move their figures anywhere on the map and may summon them in any province. The Dragonfly clan is actually quite powerful. You don't know how much you need movement until you don't have movement. The best thing to do with the Dragonfly clan, and it hasn't happened to me fully, but I've come close, is to have the Kami Fujin, which lets you, I think it's Fujin. Oh, another amazing part about my storage solution is that you can have it pretty successfully in a vertical arrangement and shake it all around, and most of the stuff is still kept in. I'm just going to give you a brief peek. You use the base tray from, from the base game, and then you store a bunch of stuff under it using that vertical space, and then you put all of the other clans in their respective boxes. So the Dragonfly clan is really powerful when you get the Oni of Spite, your lowest on the honor track, and you get the Kami that moves you around back and forth, and you lock that up. You're looking at a, potentially 32-point swing every Kami phase. You just basically get to auto win the game if you set yourself up for that. I mean, it's never going to happen. People usually prevent you. People usually get scared about the Oni of Spite being on the board. They'll betray you off the board, whatever it takes. It doesn't matter. It's still really fun to vie for. The reason why Dragonfly is my least favorite clan is because, and this is going to sound conceited, but I'm going to say it anyway, it's because I'm good enough at the game to not need their ability. If that makes sense, right? This is a game kind of all about planning and planning your movement, and I find enough people need that maneuverability on the board that if you think about where you're going and if you think about the strategic placements of strongholds and you might be a little bit more advanced at the game, you don't necessarily need its ability that much to succeed. Other than that really fun situation Oftentimes, I feel myself a little bit more underwhelmed by Dragonfly's ability than everybody else's, and I think that just has to deal with how you maneuver and how you set yourself up. If you're not good at that, if that's like one of your weaknesses in the game, well, then this is probably a great clan for you. I'm not saying people who have this as on their higher list aren't good at the game, but you're not. It also avoids things like Path of the Snake, so you don't have to pay penalties for flying all around the board. Dragonfly gives you the utmost flexibility in terms of how you position yourself and how you set yourself up for battles, and used correctly, that can be very beneficial, but I also find it the least exciting. So that's why it's number 8. Number 7, the Bonsai Clan, where everything costs no more than $1 before the discount. And this phrasing is specific. This means that things can cost you $0 if you happen to take a train phase, for example, or your ally does. Any card you want costs you nothing. And in a game where coins are everything, they're used for bidding, they're used for doing so much stuff, this power can be incredibly powerful. This power is also incredibly powerful if you are playing with the specific Kami Ryujin who lets you purchase more cards or purchase a card every Kami phase. If you happen to be Bonsai and you happen to be in the last phase of the game, you can scoop up all of the point getting cards before anybody else can react, and that's going to give you a huge advantage. And so I like this, and I often strive for purchasing cards as a key component of my gameplay. I think the cards give you a real bonus, and I think it's just fun. I think it's just fun to have all those different abilities. And I wish you were able to get more cards, but I like that you can, because it forces you to make those hard choices. But I think, again, the reason why it's kind of lower on the list for me, again, it could fluctuate. It was at number 5 at one point, it was at number 4. But I think there's sort of a potential lack of flexibility that I like to see in the variable player powers that make it feel a little less impactful. It's still really impactful in those certain circumstances, kind of like Dragonfly. They kind of go hand in hand, but they really apply only in those specific circumstances where I think pretty much everything else moving forward has a more pan-applicable application. Well, I guess except for Koi, but they're just really powerful. You also have to really focus. Here's your strategy tip for Bonsai. Focus in that first season, not on winning battles, but on taking as many hostages as you possibly can. Because if you can take a whole bunch of hostages, you're not going to be considered as a threat by a lot of people because you haven't gotten a lot of War Province tokens. You can say, listen, I'm behind. You can still ally with somebody in the second age. And then you can also then are working with like 7 or 8 coins in that second age, which you can just then use to wreck everybody else. People are going to be purchasing so much stuff. You can be using those coins effectively to develop your presence on the board and then still have the coins that you need to work on winning battles in that second age. Bonsai's fun. Getting things for nothing, especially in that third age, is really satisfying when other people are playing like 4 coins. But to me, again, it's kind of the more simple, it's the obvious application of it. So that's why it falls as number 7. Number 6 might surprise people. I think people sometimes feel like there's one combo with this that breaks the game, but I think there's one combo with every clan that's really good, and that's why the variable player powers exist, so that those combos exist. This is the Kickstarter faction, the Fox Clan. And so the Fox Clan is pretty simple. At the start of the war phase, you can place a Bushi in each province where you have no force. Your Bushi, you get 6 Bushi, as you know. I'm sure you know. You get 6 Bushi. These are sort of your main warriors, and they can go everywhere, which also means you don't really have to worry about movement because you're going to be in every battle. You don't really have to worry about coins because you're going to be in every battle, and you can lose every battle and then still get a bunch of coins. And so you can really just focus on getting the Shinto abilities and the Kami abilities locked in. And I really like that about the Fox Clan. People often say that the Fox Clan combined with the one where whenever you die in battle, you get a point. They say, oh, that's too overpowered because you can get 18 points with your 6 Bushi. That's how the math works. And if you kill yourself each time, then you get 36 points. I understand that strategy, right? I understand somebody rushing to get both of those as well, and then doubling those points, a potential 72 points on everything that you've expended just on those things, and then plus the additional things you've been able to get through your Kami abilities. And 72 is a pretty good score in Rising Sun. I've had less, I've won with less, I've won with more. I don't necessarily care about that much because it's very easy to block. You can know that that's a good card for the Fox, and so you can say, okay, well, I guess I'll just buy that. It's going to be a good card for me too. So that doesn't really bother me that much. What I really love about the Fox clan is that you do get to be in every battle. I love being in the battles. I do. And so being able to be in every battle and focus on denying those Kami opportunities or making people fight to put their Shinto up there and leave a smaller presence on the board is really good. The downside with Fox is that people can outmuscle you in almost every battle. And so Fox needs to be cunning, and Fox needs to kill themselves effectively to get those points. And actually, it wouldn't have been 72, would it? My math is wrong. It would be 54, because you get 2 points for each kill, and then you also get 1 point for the kill. That wouldn't double unless you also get poets. So 72 is kind of like the top, unless you factor in some monsters and whatever. But there's no way that perfect game is going to happen if you're playing with anybody who's ever played the game before. But yeah, being able to focus on those Shinto and just knowing that I can be in the battles is really satisfying, and it's a fun ability, and it lets you kind of stretch your legs some way or the other. Number 5 is the Koi clan. Koi clan is also pretty simple. You can use your coins as Ronin, and at the start of the war phase, you convert all your Ronin into coins. This is a really powerful ability, and I forget how powerful it is every game until I'm playing Koi clan and I go, oh man, this is a really powerful ability. Not only do you always have access to hiring Ronins, you're always a threat in every single war phase. In every single battle, you are a threat. If you drop 1 coin on Ronin, you can win that battle. So people need to block you in that area every time. But the ability to get more coins and to have more bidding flexibility just by getting Ronin, you can get the harvest benefit of any province you go into and scoop up those coins. It's just really good. There's so much battle flexibility, and your strategy here as Koi is going to be to win battles. This is where you are the most effective. You need to try to get that 30-point bonus for winning 7 different provinces in battle. If you can do that, you're putting yourself up on the right foot to do very well in this game. Koi is a sleeper one. Koi was sitting almost down at the bottom, and then I remember, I haven't played Koi in a while, and I distinctly remember every time I do end up playing Koi, I say, I'm not excited at the beginning, and then I get to that first battle phase, and I realize the strength and flexibility that I have, and I go, okay, I can kind of dominate the field here, and can throw my weight around a little bit more than in some of the other clans. So I think that's just really, really fun. Number 4 comes from the expansion, and that is the Moon Clan. This comes from the Dynasty expansion. This is pretty simple, that all your figures count as 2 force. At a minimum, they're 2 force, but you can never have more than 2 figures in each province or in all of the shrines. This comes from the Dynasty invasion. You have the Moon Clan and the Sun Clan, which hasn't yet been revealed, so is higher up on the list. What I do love about the Moon Clan is that they can dominate the Shinto. Like the Koi can dominate the battlefield, the Moon Clan can dominate the Shinto, and can also dominate the battle space as well. Having 4 force in a province in the early stages of this game is huge. It's so huge. In addition, the Lucky Gods are arguably better than the monsters of the base game. They are arguably better, and especially if you're playing a game which only has one of the 2 Dynasty clans involved in it, and so you have your choice of when to purchase these really powerful Lucky Gods. One that's just a monument that roams around like the turtles. One that is a Shinto that can replace other Shinto. If you have that as the Moon Clan, it's game over for any one of the shrines that you want. You can replace somebody out of there and already have that 2 strength. You start the lowest on the honor track, but you do get so much strength as long as somebody plays a martial mandate before the first recruit. The problem about the Moon Clan is that you start with 2 figures in your province, and if somebody plays a recruit, you can't even recruit a Shinto into that province to move it up to the commies. You just lose the action. And so Moon Clan, while having that real good strength to start, it's a tough start to get spread out. But once you do and you establish your footholds, it's really powerful to have that additional force, especially in the first 2 seasons. In the third one, the impact starts to lessen a little bit. By then, you've had access to your lucky gods and hopefully been able to get a little bit of steam and momentum. So I really enjoy playing the Moon Clan. I remember when I first played the Moon Clan, everybody who I played with was like, the Moon Clan, it's overpowered. And then they all played the Moon Clan and they lost abysmally. So I think it's okay. Number 3 is back to the main clans. If you want to talk about flexibility, this is it. It's the Lotus Clan, their ability to dictate the flow. When you choose a political mandate, you can place it face down, and it can be any mandate that you wish. The best part about the Lotus Clan is not choosing what action to take. The best part about the Lotus Clan is hiding an action that you know nobody else will be able to take, especially if that action's counterpart has already been played earlier on in the game, because each action only appears twice. So if you know a recruit has been played, and you don't want anybody else to recruit things, and you've got a recruit in your hand, that goes face down. You can tell everybody who cares who it was. Or a marshal, if people are expecting another marshal mandate to happen, you can choose if that marshal mandate happens, or you can choose if the board state remains the same. If you're not playing with the Fox, that might be very enticing for a keen Lotus player. I love the power that comes with that. I love the choice. Oftentimes, you're never really stuck that often in Rising Sun about like, oh, I really needed to play this move, but I can't because I don't draw it. That certainly happens, but it isn't like the most horrible thing to happen. It shakes up the game when it doesn't, when you don't get that optimal move. But it's not like too overpowered. It just gives that little shock to the system and forces you to choose. But being able to bury that thing and you only know what that thing is, and you can lie to everybody else around the table about what it was, that is just, oh, so much fun. So that's why it is my number 3. Now, my number 2 might be impacted because I have the Kickstarter version of this. And so I'm going to get one out. It's this little guy. And that, of course, is a member of the Turtle Clan. The Shell of the Eternal. Your strongholds count as 1 force and can move as if they were figures. Strongholds are so important in this game. And the fact that you have this big friggin' stupid turtle with a stronghold on its back that's running around the board, that cannot be taken hostage, that cannot be killed, that cannot be captured, this is so good. And everybody wants to put more strongholds on the board in that first phase. It just makes sense. Yours make more sense. So the fact that you can capitalize on an action that your ally is likely going to want to take is really important, and also helps the turtle establish that network right off the bat. In addition, these moving across the land can help you spawn things later on if you've already claimed provinces, because you need a diversification. These can help you get those other ones. If you don't have the current forces on the board, they can move in, get you that benefit, let you recruit there later, allow you to be in that fight, allow you to be in another fight where you know a lot of money is going to be spent, so that you can just take it and without any downside, other than maybe, I'll hire a bunch of Ronin, I'll take someone hostage and get more income next time. There's so much upside to having these turtles. They're so malleable and they are so great in any situation that is why they are my number 2 of all time. Oh, I'm just picturing a world in which more Rising Sun clans came. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do with myself. Oh, my sweet little turtle. Anyway, my number 1 clan, if you've been paying attention, is the only one left. And that is from the Dynasty Invasion, the Sun Clan. I hope I wasn't out of focus for all of that turtling, but you know what? I don't care, because it was worth it to get my little turtle on the map. The Sun Clan, though, is by far my favorite clan. It was 1, 2, 3 was instant. 4 to 7 was difficult for me to figure out. And then 8, I knew pretty well. I've never been a huge fan of Dragonfly. The Sun Clan, though, is my absolute favorite because it embodies not only the flexibility, not only you get those powerful lucky gods, but it also focuses on one of my favorite parts, probably my favorite part of the game, which is reading your opponent's mind. If you can anticipate what your opponent does and you are good at that thing, and that is the thing that I love trying to do, the Sun Clan is so good. Every time you tie with someone and you win that tie out of honor, the Sun Clan starts with very high honor. Only the Koi Clan is higher in honor than the Sun Clan to start. If you win in a tie, you get a coin and a point, and they lose a coin and a point. And having people lose coins and get coins, you getting coins in the middle of a battle, is so huge. It allows you to keep that currency running and making them lose it. It increases that gap. It also lets you scoop up a bunch of points. If this is the only ability where using it effectively can directly result in more points. And if you are able to do this 10 times in a game, you've gotten 10 points of a game that might take you to 60 or 70 points or 50 depending on the game. Like, that's a lot of points just based upon using and reading your opponents correctly. And every time you read your opponent, it's such a rush because you've predicted it. And then also, people are scared of you. People are scared that you are going to predict that correctly and you will get that point and they'll lose that point. And so that will affect people's bidding as well. And they'll either bid more or they'll bid less, or maybe they won't. Maybe they'll know that you know that they're going to bid more, and so they'll bid what you're going to bid. It's just such a strong clan in the right hands. It's so much fun, and it captures the spirit of this game, which I love so much, and that is figuring out what your opponent is doing and reacting accordingly. So that's my ranking of all the clans. Thanks for being here. I love this game so much. If you haven't played, I highly recommend checking it out. It's a long game. You need the right group. Some people don't like playing it at 3 and 5 because someone's going to be left out. I like that because it acts as kind of a catch-up mechanism or balances out people who are good at the game and know the game versus new players. But if you don't like that idea, then you can just play at 4 and still have a really fun area control time that's based around bluffing and reading your opponent, correctly reading the situation. It's just so fun, and I am very excited that it is here with me. I'm not in my normal studio if you're new to the channel, but I'm in Halifax, and I brought it specifically because I knew there were some people here that I wanted to introduce it to, and I cannot wait until we play. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks for being here. My name's Chris George. I do not have a catchphrase, but I do have a little turtle. Sounds like that. Oh, God. I'm not keeping that in. That would hurt your eardrums. I've got a few things to put away, but not that many. A couple of these discs fell, and that's it, and then I'll be good. What are you still doing here? Go play Rising Sun.